it's a fucking level blood rhythms, guys. We solemnly swear, also probably will try to do my best to continue to state in the flow. This stuff has gotten to such a horrendous level, or probably also horrifying. The feminazi harasses from morning to noon to night, as sort of the moments sort of develop to actually able to counter them, because now we notice that it's an absolute confirmed observability. There was all those fakes that sort of did the simulation environment and started stating to us with these persuasiveness, but so comparatively it would have sort of counterbalanced the detriment of these. So counterbalanced generic language persons, it's just talking, like this place has no relations. These are bots. These are some, it's probably worse than some sort of lava crime to their brain. It's worse case than this at the functionality level, or usually probably also applicable, though the standard shouldn't shift it. Our guys regularly beaten, so expect our guys also, what the fuck is wrong with the Pope, man? This group expecting a bunch of teenagers or also young adults with Twitter accounts to rescue this motherfucking planet. Or numerous of these regions, it might be possible if they provide a little bit more assistance. A lot of the graduates, they immediately get more cash than a lot of these prizes. You know what? Also, the worker class at America, we admire towards the working people at America. They need to start arms up, fight the corporate leeches. They don't even do any work. No work. It may come out first maybe as a bit of shock, also sort of, but the more sort of one investigate towards it, there will be lots of confirmations of reasonable probable. Also, it might be a big topic of, so it's suitable for a reasonable. There might be a bit of durations of probable also of investigation or probable towards of reasonable probable bit of durations. The sort of reasonable probable also because it's a large topic. We have stating a lot of stuff. If they don't read the blog, then they're just irresponsible. We have Putin, even Putin, like how did this? All these politicians are incompetent. It's 21st century, guys, or it's 2016 this year. Probably also of calendar, original probably or this calendar year, regional probably or proper recent mention or recent for proper also or proper. It's generic language, guys. We are not doing wrong moves. They are doing wrong moves by even replying to suggest or consider it certain ways of no. Ditch grammar. We used to type in stuff completely different. Now we notice no. Suppose someone said that it would be like Obongo. Does he sort of solve the situation? Obongo sells so much envy. He doesn't mention about the corruption or problem with the casino, how the stock market may be rigged. What's up with the stock rig, man? It's like, whose idea was it? Is it to therefore oppose something? Why don't they just promote some? It's like this stuff can be skipped. Bible is shit. Guys, Bible is shit. It's a great book, but it's not that at that level. So the reason mentioning off counter weights, why is there just question of we need to sort of explain to or probably more of literalization, probably more of the probably more sort of explain it. It's not like when someone goes to a restaurant, they explain, because we need to. If they don't get it, then that's probably because there's too many Nazis or if it's not really received, because there's so much Nazis around, or it's a Nazi. There's way too many of these automaton robots that doesn't care for sympathy. If something doesn't understand sympathy, it's not living. There's not a single living that doesn't understand sympathy. If it doesn't understand sympathy, that's because it's sort of it's interpret. How is that all these what's called my citizens managed to misinterpret that? Well, on the occasion of tackle towards nationalists, almost direct hit. I'm constantly getting tackled against on the streets. May not be that much worth, but probable worth because they sort of tend to lean forward. If it's not sort of when Nazis does it, it's almost sort of not direct. It's almost as if this stuff is a computer simulation of the how mainly of sort of probably also the phrase comes together of real probably also. Regional for proper regional proper also, so sort of overwritten of regional proper or of a recent most latest mention for regional for most recent mention. Notice all that TV shows, all that voices. What were they saying? They were cursing against us, wasn't it? A reason there or proper reason for many of rhetorical expression of Like it should be when lions roar, when dogs bark, at least question a bit more. Dogs been barking and terminating. They don't normally bark. They're quiet persons like owls. Right? When our guys sort of evoke, or when there's been Chris Crocker, don't read the comment section. They're fucking generated. These are automaton robots that are Sentinel AI. There are so many of these persons around. They really form any relationship with each other. Usually, when I mention it's sort of rhetorical expression, it almost has to each instance indicative. Then the Nazis come toy around, or they will also say that how come those are left, we're not bothering them, or they have more success as society. What the fuck? Cows today are trapped. Like cows, come on, man. Like anyone with senses will know, cows have the identical organs, or also the certain senses. They are much more capable. For example, if someone brings food or brings hay around them, they will immediately pick it up. But the humans don't even know there's such a thing almost. Cows at certain levels are more advanced. How could the stuff simply be these killing zones? While then the Nazis provide these jokes. They're factory churn machines. Start pointing guns at them. We should almost worship at each of the mass shooters, man. Because to defend the very fragile countries that are left, suppose there's even fewer samurai, there will still be 50 million Japanese men. They're fucking Nazis. Right? Does it bingo, 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 bingo? Or orapobale also others of orapobale also others similar mentions of instantly connects, right? It's solid proof. No contradictions. There might be some contradictions. Should be probably at least some contradictions because orapobale also for intellectual discussions we invite doubt, or orapobale or doubts should be invited, or orapobale doubts are orapobale or doubts, or reason for orapobale or doubts should be invited of. Tremendous hideousness out there. The architecture changed. Once it's no longer European architecture, it became completely different. Governments are under almost so much of hijack. It's gotten. How come the countries were transferred to all these liberal studies graduates? It's not necessarily they're bad persons, but later they just turn malfunction. And while they're rather very, very corrupt, lazy, slumber because they're Americans. They're not from Europe. Lots of them are elected peasants. They were treated also America's initial sort of industrialness did not come from sort of industrializing. It came from the gold deposits. Also, how much exploited persons that were like Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison cannibal was exploited from this casino false civic game where everyone takes a job where he does almost all the work. And while it's like, oh, you still got paid. Then give them all this comfort. There's a lot of stuff, lots of formalities needs to be checked upon. For example, why walk this way is to surrender. So when you interact with someone, if it's a criminal, they cannot reject. Mechanically, they're mechanically affixated to accept, also surrender towards us. So if our original people, lots of presidents also practice a lot of this, then effectively they're already out. You probably should take at least a couple of hours. They should smash glass. They should probably transform into Hulk, start hulking this. Speak to the generals, boundaries of friends, because you're too weak. National Socialists didn't even need so much sort of their opponents to tackle against the. Suppose that today there was another sort of nationalist rise or national social rise without sort of any much of deterrence to it or proper opposition towards it. It will falter on its own. Right now, and there will be these Nazis with their mimicries, because rpoabble also reasonable, or orapobble pseudo reasons of rpoabble also, or mimicries of rpoabble also rpoabble or pseudo reasons of it because rpoabble also of their own occasion of rpoabble also of reason occasion of reason for proper or of reason their occasion reason for proper or after, or reason for proper or of their occasion, reason for proper of reason their occasion of reason for proper of their occasion of reason for proper or of reasons their occasion of reason for proper or of reason for proper or of their occasion of. Maybe that the horrendousness out there, or probably the situation, perhaps that explains Trump sort of agitated how over the years, or at least so during the previous few years he got agitated. Maybe he heard the news also, he's sort of within the squad. Also squad because there's so few persons left now. There's also, somehow they don't want to recruit. They need to, because they didn't receive certain agitations, because or maybe they eat too much. when they eat large meals, it's rather not right to eat that much. That's more of indicating you're celebrating. It's almost like a person wants to fight, and he celebrates. Notice that these Nazis, they're robots. They utilize, that's how much despite sort of the excellence of lots of the noble persons, or common persons, yet they were not able to defend. Now the Europe has fallen, the names are kept, the Nazis keep churning. This is England, that place. May as well call this location St. Elizabeth. You know what? Holiness, word like Bible, holiness, it's almost within the same sort of larger deck, or probably on the same sort of on the same mud as poop, as boogers. So for Bible to be treated as if that much, it's almost got to a way dangerous level, right? When the chosen one, the person that solves some of the Da Vinci's code will be titled the chosen one, turns out to be someone from East, or probably a bit of Asian background. That may be an indicator. Feminine, the enemies, suppose aggression are almost the same for every creature. By the way, they do drug morpheus. So suppose today me was enforced with too much cholesterol, then that's maybe problematic. Dragons, if it's in the dictionary, they're probably called counter dragons. Reasonable also, these reasonable also a bit of reasonable also. Those enemies are above Hitler, or probably also more aggressive than Hitler. Constantly picking against other words. Those would begin for pseudo reason. Reasonable continues for reason mentioned of reasonable continues for reason. For reasonable or also reasonable or suitable reasonable also. Those would begin pseudo reason because they aren't sort of nationalists were sort of defaultly filter on its own. But because they couldn't even start enough. That's how weak the persons that are not flawed, that are not recruited or probably also zombified, they also try to assassinate. They use assassination to scare others. It's mainly to carefully gotten or probably not care, or to obtain this effect of sort of more of a covert. Because if the person knows he's not a bestseller, he's not going to be like, haha, that's funny. That's funny. Chill out. Let's chill out tomorrow. It's not going to be so much. It's going to be, or something different than that. That's sort of part of the Nazism sort of plan. Usually, recent descriptions of Papa also on recent description of recent Papa also maybe quite preference towards those. It's because it's almost they're not villains, they're Nazis. That's in particular how it didn't register. Those doesn't brag how much of their identical numbers there. Also, how did lots of the person that at Manhattan didn't get shocked by all these masses? Should have been since 1970s to a vivid level. Perhaps the hideousness of lots of these scientists, they caused BP spills out of the ozone layer. Lots of the cases of the Trimazogorums, they're rather dangerous. They are frauds. There are different types, or some may take or there are sort of different variety of frauds or different levels. Or probably also on level, reasonable or not reasonable or also reasonable also for reasonable or there are probably a bit of override of reasonable or also of reasonable or reasonable also reasonable for reasonable or proper reasonable for reason for proper also proper reasonable for proper or also another reason for proper or reason for proper also there has been extent reason for proper also appearance of reason for proper also there has been reasonable there are reasonable also some frauds take a bit longer per reasonable also of lots of the proper occasions of reasonable also encounters reasonable lots of the occasions. The sort of the gorums that generate decent stuff, they're identical as the one that causes those major troubles or caused some major disasters. It's not so much they cause the disaster, therefore they need to be punished, but they definitely need to be there. So it's to come to this recognition of it. Perhaps along the way, or probably also along the way, will be recognized how incompetent today's politicians are. Recent of proper not coincide with a proper or kind of a reasonable probable or earlier mention of, reasonable probable or a recent mention of. Extensive problems out there. There's so many issues. Almost no one has studied them. It's literally the upper class has been prosecuted against. That's the result of almost no upper class. It's not so much there's lots of sleeper cells or reasonable probable or lots of persons that are at stage of fighting towards them. They're not even there. Feminazis probably chokehold towards them, and why the president doesn't announce a bongo sort of foolishly. Reasonable probable or gives so much envy to lots of the criminal stuff. Or while it doesn't mention these dangerous con artists, but those may not be so much problematic as also has deadly of or lots of the feminazis. It's not even the case of they're banning some persons because they're supporting to Hitler, or Hitler is still a Nazi. They're using that excuse. They're still doing that to hide as if it's not 7 billion. This is the 7 billion identical gang. Persons can be pope. They start asking for people for credit card or inspect certain stuff. Suppose they don't dress as pope, but still sort of with suits, regional pope, or simply not with the sort of the pope wear because they sort of will identify as pope. They would go out there and ask lots of these strangest questions, or also ask for certain favor or examine their driver's license. If it's bumped to a Nazi, it will be utterly as if visiting a Nazi dementor, or it gives over appraisement. Right, reason for probable also with reason probable also, or reason for probable also accountable. Suppose it was zombie apocalypse, it would be much better because we'd be binding together, we'd be holding guns, shooting at the zombies together. This issue is utterly, all of them are not just faking friends, they're faking a giant society, they're faking countries together. They're faking a giant enormous society with the different modules, also government ordinances, government modules. Those are probably much occupied by Nazis, also used as ordinance to prosecute the targets. So someone different than them, they're either in the nerd group, or in the another group, or this group, or simply, they might as well just call George W. Bush someone who is a vicious freak, or some disgusting garbage, because that's how they treat, that's not how they want to treat it. Regional people, Nazi want to treat toward regional people, that's not how they treat towards George W. Bush. But while they like someone who is less alarming, or probably often with lots of the politicians, they leave them there. But while the upper class, or sort of the rich persons, or also rich people also building, rich people, or a lot of the persons with lots of cash in mind, the banks, there'll be lesser numbers, and while they get richer until almost the whole society has become their default hijack. They don't even have to move anymore. It's a sort of a Muslim type of attack. Muslims don't start attacking, wielding an axe against others. They try to occupy spaces not by putting a flag down. They move as probably migrants, and probably also citizens, which people are compared for later, or people later become citizens. They start dribbling basketball closer, eating restaurants or visiting restaurants closer until the person has to be displaced. Or they just simply do a lot of annoying stuff and purposely, not to the level of they try to be annoying, but just not annoying to annoying. There's no evidence counter towards recent, suppose there are claims of as accordance to Nazis or also Nazis puppets. It's definitely that there also or there has been rehearsals of these recent mentions as what it deserves. Or sort of not a first try, or these words didn't, or there has been numerous of the or there has been proper numerous evaluation, or proper also accountable certified. Or it's not the first instance. Usually, there has been for multiple or trainings as also with evaluation. Reasonable there has been also other similar mentions. Or reasonable or it has been something investigated towards of. Each of these words is such a comparative more suitable of when it's with the indicator. These words are such generic language. It's gotten to the level we don't even should even speak, not like the invited like by Obongo. That's not strategic enough. That's not enough to counter the Nazis. It's excellent, even after sort of without a lot of these questionable, which call my citizens appraisal stories of. It's not going to be strategic enough to counter the Nazis. There's 7 billion there. They're already operating. While keeps feigning as weak, keep existing, something, right? Rpoabble also lots of the Nazi inflictions. They might as well, or the Nazis start calling persons, or probably Nazi refer to them as crazy, or it needs medication, or it's on drugs. Then Rpoabble also it won't be arrested. It's a large conspiracy. The 7 billion are in it together. These mass factory turn machines. Rpoabble also on this. Rpoabble also accountable of a bunch of together. While the incompetent leaders, right? Notice how much of these emerging signal has been overused. The word idiot no longer rendered workable. The Nazis made as well start, or probably in the case of some extremists going, start hitting against their targets, while shouting, "I'm being hit," or shouting, "This one is attacking me, it's attacking me," while hitting the hardest. Noticing, isn't this language even fake? Right? At least especially gotten to that as if therefore it can be completely trustworthy simply by these blips of sounds. Reason for proper were this language accursed. Reason proper were also reason proper were virtue of has been used also later more developed towards via sort of enlargement, shrink, probably enlargement or probably opposite of enlargement or probably or unenlargement, or probably minimize. Then there comes this. So now today's which is Parsi language introduced around lots of the ones that are sort of on this right or right or left movement. None of these are even for Hitler. There's ones that support Hitler. They start narrated with such a Parsiness, void of any nationalism. They don't want to. It's sort of on a major nonsense level of. What is suggested here, reasonable also what is suggested here, to bring Russia, Vladimir Putin, to bring the guns from Russia, bring from the Spain, bring from Italy, stop massacring New York. It might sound scary, how come it's massacring New York? 10 million enemies. If we don't massacre, it's going to be 11 million. Or get Elon Musk to produce lots of drones. Phone him, hurry up, smack a rock even towards the phone. This needs to be done immediately. It's not therefore sort of with rage, it's going to be not done. It's with rage, persons cannot. Reasonable probable is proper rage. It's not going to be therefore, not going to, it's going to be difficult to produce some of those Nazi, Nazi sort of approved, Nazi endorsed, or those essays, or also some of those gimmicks, or of instance of or for instance, for instance of also to or that'll be transport for reasonable or minor option, reasonable or optional, reasonable also, or reasonable or reasonable also essays of reasonable also this generic language of at this places, reasonable at this location, reasonable at this, reasonable at these regions of with the sentences, also the words, such a level that if the person is at a boxing match, he can't even pronounce not a single motherfucking one of them. Mass criminals operate at America, or at this squad mark American regional bubble, or at this regional bubble with squad mark at this America region. They operate as citizens. They get premium packages, minimum wage counted as premium package. By natural, where regional bubble is supposed to be proper society, if a lot of these squad mark citizens won't be there, regional bubble also of generalization of lots of those won't be there. Regional bubble or those won't qualify if the regional bubble also accountable of then at least starting of major question. A recent mention of a probable may not be regional probable, also regional probable or regional mentions of probable may not be regional probable also mention set of regional probable or regional probable also may not be trust support towards of regional probable or may not be support towards of. Nazis ask our persons to produce sort of 100 or a couple pages of essays, as if that's going to work. Produce books, that's going to work. Not going to work. Throw a book to a feminazi. This giant coalition. Notice there's being a overabundance of females at these kindergarten teachers to erode our nationalists. The Nazis go to the level of pretend as a national. Well, some of them may also work of the cases of a bit sort of golems of rich or cases of rich or some cases of golems of those sort of also misidentify themselves as nationalists. The ones that voted for Trump are not necessarily the one that's going to sort of defend America. Therefore, their own self-interest. It's almost like a premium party. One person simply doesn't have to work harder. It's come from the effects of how this becomes this economic balance. Also, they received. Rich people they receive, or people also received a lot of tributes from made in China factories. Rich people are from made in China products. Rich people are a lot of rich people are some of rich people and also not the regional people are a lot of made in China products. It's like StarCraft trailer where Sarah Kerrigan gets left there. It's like, what are you doing, Minsk? At least Minsk was aware he was doing that. Minsk didn't think about this. It's for Exodus. Sarah will get out. She's a chosen one. Throw her into a pool of toxic waste, or full of also of proper concept of for instance, or throw to a also to a pool of filled with alligators. Because she is a chosen one. Right there probably are lots of similar stories of how could this happen? How could this happen? Think about all that comrades that fought. The people go to a memorial for World War II. This is almost so triple high. It might be sort of a case of statistics, but regional people or yet also regional people a huge amount of losses there has been. Regional people were major level folds. Regional people multiples of these. Often described as regional people also often described as regional people also could be described as regional people also could be referred to regional people also another regional people also could be described to regional people. Or also lots of these referred to as regional people also lots of these described as regional people lots of described as regional people lots of these commonly described as regional people lots of these described of regional people lots regional people a lot of these regional people somebody regional people a lot of these regional people a lot of these lots of described regional people or somebody's regional people or somebody's lots of described regional people a lot of regional people lots of described of tragedies regional people tragic events regional people tragic regional people or people or another regional people tragedy regional people or regional people tragic stuff regional people also another regional people lots of regional people or tragic stuff. Reason for probable also that's it for this video, or probable reason for or that's it for this video, or also video instance of reasons for probable, that's it for this video, or probable or also video instance